This land, this world we inhabit, has had many owners. So many to keep track of and so many to name. I've seen some of them, but yet not all of them. The ones that I haven't seen, the ones I can't put a face or a name to, are the scariest ones in them all. The status we gain when we're alive is lost once the cutter's torch cuts through our boilers. When does the line draw between myth and reality? No one knows. No one ever knows. There is a legend, one of many passed from driver to engine. It is believed by some that this place where engines burn and wither away from centuries ago are still screaming today. Not only today, but for all of eternity, coupled up together like mindless wagons and taken away into the darkness to their final destination. What is this place called? The railway men call it the Underground Railroad. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Chained up together, moved from their homes and the culture they learned and adopted, and now tortured and left to die. The only difference was the place it was named after was for salvation, to break those chains. No such luck for us, I'm afraid. With that legend comes a saying. Once you're attached, you must ride on those tracks. A blast from your past, but you can never go back.
What utter nonsense! Scrap is already bad enough without you trying to make a ghost story out of their final days of life.
If you don't believe me, ask Oliver. Every engine who worked on British railways and beyond has heard of this. Some have even seen it for themselves.
I never understood what the last part meant. Does it mean an engine gets visited by their fallen friends and comrades?
Not really. You see, the part that says a blast from your past means getting destroyed where you were created. It happens everywhere, but mostly on the railways. Workshops that used to make engines soon turned into scrapyards around the country and started melting them down. Some souls come to terms with it and leave in peace, while others decide to stay, never finding it.
It's true. I've worked at many yards and many sheds at my time. One engine in particular stood out. He knew about the end before it had arrived. No one believed him at the time. No one wanted to. He told us this legend, and one day he disappeared himself. But his whistle was heard at the junction for a long time after.
Indeed. I'm sure you've heard of these places before. Places like Crewe, Swindon, Brighton, Stratford and Kronk.
Kronk? You mean our Kronk?
Don't be so ridiculous. No engines were built on Sodor, not before that Ivo engine. From the little railway,
That's what you think. Remember Glyn? He was built on Sodor long before any of us were even thought of. In fact, a lot of companies tried their hands at building their own engines until they gave up and decided to buy some. How do you think you got here?
Thomas is right. Kronk tried to make many engines over that period. Many were failed experiments and were scrapped before they even left the yards. The workshop itself was small and cramped within the town, so they moved location and built a workshop within the lone hillside of the Preston Incline. I assume you know where that is, Gordon. The place was rumoured by the people who lived around in the area to have some sort of magic, dark magic. While the men didn't believe in such things, they were hopeful that this magic would help make their engine a success. It came as a shock to them that it indeed worked, for the moment at least. Built in 1856, she would be the blueprint going forward.
Wait, did you say she?
Yes.
She.
Her name was Abby, after the top station that ran along a line.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Stone.
Good morning, Abby.
The line itself was called the Dagon Triangle, since it went from Kronk to Abbey, then down to Kildane in a triangular loop. She was a completely unique design, a hodgepodge locomotive. She was a beauty, painted in a unique shade of violet with copper fittings and chimney caps similar to a Victorian-era design, which were common at the time. However, accounts from the builders and crew said she was a shy steamer and couldn't build up enough steam. Her small bunker meant she couldn't travel along the line without a coal truck coupled right behind her, and even then, water towers were put up at each station because of her small water tanks. Since the railway couldn't afford turning the already expensive engine to a tender locomotive, she had to stay like that until the end of her working life. In spite of these issues, she ran the line all the way to Kildane, where the Sodor and mainland engines would take on the rest of the trains to the harbour at Kirkronan. While a line was short, she supplied them with coal from the mines within the mountains. The owners of the small line thought it would be easier to sell coal to existing railways to make a profit, rather than being in competition with the neighbouring railways. In turn, the S&M gave them passengers and allowed them to use the ports. Soon, times were changing and the mines dried up. Worse was that the S&M, as well as other railway companies, could get coal for cheaper from the mid-Sodor. Because of this, funds began to dwindle, and soon the line went into disrepair. The S&M wanted to buy the engine as well as the line several times, but the owner refused. Some of the water towers were melted down for revenue to save the failing line, but that only made things worse. One night, as the engine was pulling a small goods train up the gradient, she began to feel thirsty, but the crew didn't take much notice. "We'll get more water at the station," they said dismissively. She began to beg, plead even, but soon it was too late, and then it happened.